morning. So my session today will be on XenMobile tools. So it's based on REST services. So who am I? So I'm a French consultant. I'm based in US. So I moved in US 2 years ago. I create my own company and I'm based in Florida in Tampa. So my company is MTRC Consulting, and I'm working as a subcontractor for Citrix consulting services in US and in Europe, with a focus on the XenMobile, ShareFile, and NetScaler. And I am the proud father of 4 daughters. So today the agenda. So we'll discuss about REST services, some PowerShell script I created for many different purposes. I will show you some example, and we will discuss what's next, what I would like to do, and if you have any questions. So with REST services, you can do a lot of things. You can directly make some requests on the XenMobile server, and so for that you will need a REST client. And since the 10.7 version, there is a new role-based access control permission. Before this version, you need to be a local admin on the XenMobile server to access the REST services. So what is the methodology I used? So first I read the PDF that Citrix provides on their website. It's more than 300 pages. So it's a lot of things to learn and try to understand how it was working. And I test with an advanced REST client. So I'm using Google. So I just make a search to find one client, and I use the first I find with the search. So it was this one. So it's an extension for Google Chrome. So how it's working, so you just need to provide a username and password with the URL to log in, and when you connect, you retrieve a token. This token, there is a 60-minute time limit to use this token. So just another thing, if you want to connect, so here I use the public FQDN to connect. If you want to connect with this client to the IP of the server, you need to add an extension, because the certificate that will be provided by the XenMobile server will not be trusted. So you just need to use this little button there, and you will be able to connect with the IP instead of the FQDN. So what about the PowerShell script? The fact is, even if the REST client is great, I think it's better for most of users to use PowerShell script, because all the main things are encrypted, and just the information needed are requested when you launch the script. You don't have to go inside the REST client and to change parameters. So I decided to create script. And the main thing at the beginning, so I need to figure out how to connect, because I would like the script to be the more easier to use for the user, for the admin. So the first thing I use, it's the same block in all my script. So I bypass the certificate verification. I ask for the XMS FQDN or IP address. I check if the FQDN resolution can be done. I test the port, the admin port, which is the default port 4443. It can be changed in the script. And I ask for credentials with a pop-up. So just an example here for the authentication part of the script. So you provide it. So here I use the FQDN, but you can use the IP. So the verification is made after you are asked for the credentials. So here it's an API admin account I created with only the API access role in the airbag. And after a successful authentication, I got this. So here is the list of the script that I will show you today. I will explain you for each script why I did it. So you will see, sometimes it's because I got issue with customers, sometimes it's because someone just asked me for a script The fact is that all the things that the script can do, it's not, you cannot do that, or you cannot do that in an easy way with the web admin console. This is why I created the script. For the first one, I was asked by someone to know if it was possible to send a notification. So if you are aware about XenMobile, you can in the console select devices and send notification. The fact is that the request was, can I send a notification to a delivery group? And in fact, in the XenMobile web console, it's not possible to do that. There is some filter, you can filter based on Active Directory membership assigned to a delivery group, but not to a delivery group itself. So how does it work? So it's the same beginning, so authentication. After, so I retrieve the list of the available delivery group. I ask which delivery group you want to send a notification, what will be the message you want to send, and what will be the sound you want to play on the device. So here is an example, just to show you how it's working. So here it's on one of my lab. So just here, the fact is you got all the default sound. It's case sensitive. So if you make an error when you type the name, it's just a beep on the device. Just another thing, with Android devices, you need so Google Cloud Messaging to be configured if you want to send real-time notification, and you will need also to have an Android scheduling policy. Otherwise, it will take, by default, it's I think 2 hours for the device to retrieve the notifications. Here it's another example. I got a customer for Citrix consulting services, which is in the cloud. The fact is that if you're aware with the console, with on-premise configuration, you got in the settings the license server, so you can retrieve how many licenses you got and how many are used. For cloud services, it's not possible. You cannot see how many licenses you are using. Probably it's because all the licenses are shared between XenMobile cloud customers. So even if I did try to access it with the REST services and I got an access denied. So I create a script. So the difference is here that I list all the number of on-board device after I make a selection of all the user, and in the list of the user, I check for unique name. So a user can have multiple devices, but as it's users, licenses and not device, this is how it works. So here, the same. So just keep it for you, but it's the URL of the customer. So I cut some part of the script because it takes some time to make all the check. So here, for example, I got 540 on-board device and just 253 license used, because mostly 2 devices by user I got for this customer. The fact is that Citrix will not deliver all the customer a report of license used. You need to ask the cloud team to send you a report. It's not a scheduled task for Citrix cloud team. The other one, it was for the UDID of iOS devices. The customer asked me to retrieve all the UDID of the iOS devices, which is a thing that you cannot do with the web console. So same thing, I create a script, I check for all the on-board device, and I check the property, which name is UDID, and I retrieve it, and I create a CSV file. So same thing there. So I did it on my lab because UDID can be a little bit sensitive, so I don't care, it's my own device. But you will see here, I got 3 on-board devices and I got 2 iOS devices. So I retrieve the UDID. After it's a CSV file, so you can do whatever you want with it. the other one, so I was asked about that. The fact is that when you work with XenMobile, you get some delivery group and you can add some policies, action or whatever settings. And I was asked how to modify it without the need to go in the console. And this one was a little bit tricky because the fact is that when you read the documentation provided by Citrix, the command with the rest is a put command. And it's written in the documentation that it permits you to edit a delivery group. The fact is that it's not editing the delivery group, it's a replace. So if you want to add a device policy, and for example you got 3 current device policies configured, you need to list the current policies, to keep them somewhere, and to add the new one. So this one, so the same thing. So here an example. So I already have one configured. So I need to make some research on how it's working to be able to retrieve and just add the one you want to add. So here I will add 2 more policies. So the same way as the other one, so I list the delivery group, I list the current configure, I will add 2, so you are asked how many policies you want to add, and the name of the policies. And here I got my 2 policies, 2 I added. So I was asked for this one, and after I just think about doing the same thing for action as well as for application. So I will not show you a demo, it's the same way, works the same way. So I list the delivery group, I list all the configure, action or application, how many, you are asked how many action or application you want to add, and all the settings is done. After I got this one, so by default you got an inactivity timer in the server properties, which is 7 days. So after 7 days of without any activity between the device and the XenMobile server, the device is put in inactive mode. The fact is that it could be useful to change this value, because sometimes you got users which are going in vacation for more than 7 days. And probably they don't want to power up the device because they are in vacation. So here it's just a little script. So the fact is that it can be easily changed in the XenMobile web console, in the server properties. So this one is it was just for fun. The fact is that as we change the server property, a reboot is needed. The other one, revoke inactive device. So the fact is that after this period of time, the device is marked as inactive. However, the license is still consumed. So I was working for a customer with more than 9,000 annual device, and more than 1,000 of those devices was inactive. The fact is that the user was without any more licenses. So any more users were able to enroll the device. So I created in the same way a script to list the inactive devices and to revoke the devices. When a device is revoked, the license is free. It's made free on the license server. So I will show you an example. So I did it on my lab also, because it's easier if I make something wrong. It's just my own devices. So here in this example I got 3 devices, so I got 3 licenses consumed. I got 2 of the devices which are inactive. So I list the settings, the current settings, and you are asked if you want or not. You can't just say no there, and you will have a red message sending that you select no. So the device still be there. However, when I go in the license, you will see I just use 1 license and not 3 anymore. So it can be useful. Because, I mean, there is some script on the internet where you can reset the license here. So for example, if you got 1,000 license and 1,000 used, you can reset the license server to be in 0. The fact is that during the night, we discovered that with a customer around midnight, all the device, there is a check which is made. So the morning after, in the morning, we saw 1,000. So it was not the solution. But when you revoke the device, so you can change the script after and adapt it, for example, to remove the device. The fact is that if you remove the device and it's a stolen device, the device still be able to onboard. If it's revoked, it cannot be able to onboard anymore. So I think it's more secure to revoke the device and not to delete the device from the console. So this one, update index. The fact is that when you publish the application, so you got the index, which Citrix provide on the website, and you can also push public application. It's easy for public application in the web console just to upload, because there is a check with the public store. For index, it cannot be done. So you need to go inside each application individually and on each platform, iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, to upload. So I decided to create a script to perform this task because I got some customers which are using all the secure apps from Citrix. So it can be time consuming to go on each. So this one, how it works, same thing, authentication. So after I need to create a temporary folder on the session. So I download the latest MDX for iOS and Android. For now it's only for iOS and Android because most of my customers are only working with those two platforms. The fact is that those MDX source files will be downloaded from my blog on port 80 because if I want to download this from the Citrix website, an authentication is required. So to avoid this problem, so I push them on my blog and it's downloaded over port 80. So the MDX are downloaded, extract in this folder, and after each application is updated individually on each platform. And at the end, everything is removed. So just an example there. So I got Secure Mail for iOS and Android with an old version. So I just show you Secure Mail, Secure Web, and ShareFile because it takes a long time to do everything. Just to let you know, there is with this script there is just a little issue with ShareFile because the fact is the ShareFile name is ShareFile, but you cannot use it. Citrix does not allow it because you got the ShareFile name which is already used by XenMobile for the control plane communication. So at the end, if you run the script, at the end you will need to modify the ShareFile. For example, you will say just add the space. It's allowed. So here I connect to the server. You will see the download of the zip. So it was not only quick, it was in Wi-Fi at the hotel, but it's fine. And here also I cut the video because it will do it for every application. So at this point there is no verification of the current version. Everything is uploaded. Probably in the future I will do it, but for now it's working as I want it to work, so it's fine for me. So if you go there, you will see, so it's uploaded and there is a description which explains how it has been done. And you will see after in ShareFile, so what I explained you. The fact is that the real name, it's not the app name in the properties. It's another value and this value cannot be uploaded. So this is just a little things to do if you use this script. So here, so this is just a quick example. So we discovered an issue with the Samsung LAM key about 2 weeks ago with a customer. The fact is that the customer used Samsung tabs and with this key is mandatory push ActiveSync configuration on the native email on the tablet. And the fact is that so Citrix told that Samsung changed things. We are not really sure what is the problem there. So we decided to find a way to change this. So the fact is that when you create a super bundle on the XenMobile, you got an LAM key, so the real value and not the encrypted value. This value is the same for every implementation. So we decided to create a script to check the device, create a new properties, and put the device policy on those devices if the property is set. So based on that, because the fact is that this customer I got, so this is the same customer as I spoke you, so more than 9,000 devices enrolled and 600 devices with this problem. So going on 600 devices and manually to change the value, it was not possible. So I created the script. So after XMS report, so I work on the script because I really love the Carl Webster script on report on Netscaler, XenApp, and XenDesktop. So I spoke about 2 years ago with Carl to create a script for XenMobile, and he just told me the fact is I will not create a script if I don't need it for a customer. If a customer doesn't ask me to create it, I will not spend time to do it. So I decided to create it because my main focus is on XenMobile. So at the beginning, I work on my own script. And the fact is that it was working on my laptop, but I got Word 2016, and it's specific to my laptop. It's in US, and so I got some beta tester who tested, and one of them was using Word 2013, I think, and it was not working as expected. So I contacted Carl, and he just told me that I can use this template from his GitHub repository. So I use this template, and I need to rewrite everything in the script. But right now with the script, I can have Word, PDF, HTML, or text report. So just a little example. So here it's on my customer in the cloud, because it's more representative than my own lab. So if you are using Carl Webster script, you will see it's the same thing. So I just add some tests. So here, as you can see, here I cannot retrieve the license from Citrix Cloud. So I just write the information in the PowerShell window, and you will see it also in the report. So it can take some time. So I have got some part of the video, because there is some, I think this one it's around 550 enrolled devices, and everything is checked 2 weeks after. So I retrieve many information. So I think from my own opinion, this is the information which are interesting, but we can retrieve much more information. And the script can be modified. I mean, if anyone want more information, I can see if it's possible to modify the script and add those information in the report. So here I think it takes about a little bit more than 2 minutes to run the script. And here is how it looks like. So you got the report, the table of content, and all the information after about. So here we get the certificate, so with less than 30 days of renew, which is in red. So here we see that there is no license can be retrieved because it's in the cloud. I got all the application, type of application. I got, so there is a lot of application for this customer. I got the Netscaler configuration, I got the device, all the onboard device. I got here all the delivery group with all the apps, the mandatory, and if it's mandatory or optional. And I got client properties, the role-based access, and the server properties. So another script on which I worked was to be able to configure XMS remotely with a PowerShell script. So I was able to do a lot of things, but the fact is that you got some limitation with REST services. I will explain you after what type of limitation you got. But I was able to create a script. The fact is, the script, it's how can I say that? You need to put everything in the script. All the settings you want to add. For example, all the IP of the server and everything. So here, just an example. So it's a server without any configuration. Just to show you, no license, no Netscaler, no LDAP. And when you run the script, so you ask, so here I use the IP. So it's a public IP, but it's the same. I can connect directly with the public IP if the door is open. And here is all the things that I was able to configure with the REST services. So the license, the LDAP, Netscaler, notification server, client properties, so you can create new client properties or update current, because a lot of customers, I think I never see any customer using the default client properties. So I create the delivery group, and you will see after. So I add application on the delivery group. So I change client properties. So for example, the inactivity timer, I create a new properties. I change for the touch ID, password caching. Here it's the notification server. So just here there is a bug. When you use REST services to create or update SMTP notification server, the name of the server is not written in the XMS server. Instead, you will see SMTP, and it's a bug. So it should be fixed in the next release. And here I also created a role-based access control property. So, I create the script, and after I was able to do that, I was thinking about other things. I will explain you. So the limitation of REST services, you cannot create any device policies, you cannot create actions. The certificate, you cannot upload other certificates than base 64, and you cannot manage application settings. You can upload an NDX, but with every default settings. So I hope Citrix will provide us in the future the ability to do that, but for now it's not possible. So, bonus. So after creating the configuration script, I was thinking about something else. If you, I don't know if you are end user, customer, or partner, but usually customers should have, I said should because most of them don't, should have multiple environments, production, test and dev, quality assurance and whatever. The fact is that all the environments should be the same, and there is no way to replicate the configuration. So as I was able to configure with PowerShell script, I created a script to export and import the configuration. So it will permit you to replicate from dev to prod or whatever, and to change database configuration, because it's based on REST services and not database communication. And it can help you if you want to migrate from on-premise to the cloud. So here is an example of the script. So for now the script is working with the same limitation as the configuration script. So it can do a lot of things, but not everything. So here it's a brand new one without any license or any configuration. I just go to some settings just to show you that it was a brand new one. So if you want to do that, so you will use the source server, so which can be an IP or FQDN, authentication for the source server, and the destination server is also authentication. And after everything is done with the script. So some files will be created on the device and deleted at the end, because everything is stored in a file. So don't run the script on your desktop in PowerShell, because you don't have the right to create file on the desktop when you're in PowerShell systems without admin right. So here you ask for the, so it's not encrypted, so it's the password of the LDAP authentication. So here you will see I got I create new properties for the client and I upgrade the current. So here the client properties has been modified to have the same as the other settings on the source server. And I also created a new key, because this new key is on the source server. That's it, just to show you that you can modify existing key or create new key or properties. So for now I'm a little bit stuck with this script. The fact is, so what's next? So I would like to finalize the script and to be able to do everything to really replicate on environment, because I think it can be really useful. So I'm open to create new scripts on demand. I mean, I will show you after. I got a blog and a Twitter account, and I asked in the past, about 1 month ago, any idea of new script, because it's like a game for me. So even if it's time consuming, I mean, I start working with REST services and PowerShell script. I'm not a developer guy. So you will see after I will provide you the link for the script, for all the script I showed you. So the script, they do what I want them to do, what I expect. If you go and you are a developer guy, you will see it's not probably the easier way or the better way. But as I just want the script to do what I want, it's fine for me. And so, based on that, so as I told you, you cannot set application settings. The fact is, with REST services, you can retrieve all the settings. So there is a way to put settings on the app when you upload the app. So for example, here you will see, so I got a policy_metadata XML file. Oops, sorry. So this file, so you got the index. When you got the index is like a container. It's a compressed file. So you can uncompress the index file and read the metadata policy_metadata XML, which is all the settings, the default settings. So if you use REST API to read the current settings, and you make a comparison between the default and the current, if it's not the same, you replace the default with the current settings. After, at the end, you compress the file, you upload it. You will have the ability to put settings on the apps when you upload the apps. So I'm working on that, but it's not so easy.
Did you contact Esther about this? Esther Bartel?
I know, yeah.
She's walking around here, right?
Yeah, I know Esther. So, I mean, I spoke about that yesterday, I think, with her. We need, I need to check how to do that, because I know how to uncompress, to read the file. After, I need to make some script to compare the settings, just to be sure where is the settings, because you've got multiple secure apps, just not only secure web or secure mail. But I think it's possible to do that. It will take some time, but at the end, I think we will be able to replicate the app with the settings. So we'll miss the actions and the device policies. The certificate also, the fact is that the certificate, if you work with SAN certificate or wildcard, it can be useful to replicate the certificate, but if it's a named certificate, you don't care, because it will not be the same. So I don't know if you have any other question about the script or...
Yeah, first of all, big respect for the work. Very cool ideas, I have to say. I don't know if you have seen the same if you are updating MDX apps. Sometimes Citrix will kill your settings. So you upload an MDX and after this you have new settings we never had before set like this. So I was wondering on your updating script if you're checking the previous settings and after that the settings after the update. Because I've seen their changes after updating.
No. In fact, no. Right now for the script which upload the MDX, I don't check the settings. Because the fact is I never seen that.
Okay.
And I never had problem updating MDX and lose some settings.
Okay.
So go back to
Back a couple of
Yeah. But I mean, when I will work on the, so what I just showed you about the retrieve the settings compared to the default one. So if I'm able to do that for the script to export import, I can also use the same thing for the upload MDX.
Yeah.
Retrieve the settings, just need to be sure that it will be kept when you will upload.
Yeah, the same would be perfect for the documentation script. Very good idea. But it would be very useful to have the MDX settings in the script of each app. Because
I can also add this. Yeah, it's easy to add the settings.
yeah, it would be great because the secure apps have so many settings.
A
Nearly 50
little bit more
settings or
than 80.
something.
Yeah, more than 80 settings for each
Yeah,
app.
would be very useful to have them in the documentation because they could change or what have we done 2 months ago, what have we changed, you know, on this mess of settings.
You don't
on
really know where it
10
has
apps.
been changed.
It's very crazy.
Okay, I don't know if you got other question. So the last thing, so all the scripts are available on my GitHub repository. So feel free to go there and download the script. And if you want to contact me, I got one of my email address here, my Twitter account, my LinkedIn, and my blog. So every time I create a new script or I publish, I mean, a lot of articles on my blog. Most of them are on XenMobile share file, Netscaler, issue remediation or whatever. Thank you.